Kaz Radash, long time no see.
Hello, it's good to be back.
What's been happening lately?
Shall we talk about this Twitter drama first, or shall we talk about the core update first?
Let's talk about the core update first and then come on to the drama later.
All right.
Because it's some crazy times.
Yeah, definitely crazy. Obviously, the core update, I don't know what ended up happening at the end, but they forgot to announce that it had finished rolling out. So I think it finished rolling out on, let's say, the 19th, but they didn't announce it until the 25th or something, I believe, which I thought was a bit weird. I don't know what your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, there was some conspiracy theories. I think it probably wasn't a conspiracy, but some people were saying because Google had their earnings call coming out end of that month, they delayed announcing the end of the update until after the earnings call. But I can't see how a core update would impact someone's earnings.
The thing
Also,
is, I did see that conspiracy theory, but people seem to think that Google's just like a one office, and there's 10 people in the office, and one guy's running the GMB side of the business, the other guy's running the search side, and the other guy's running the PPC. It's not the case. Like, I can almost guarantee that like the YouTube team probably don't speak to the SEO team, and the SEO team probably don't speak to the PPC team or the click fraud team or whatever else. I did see that. I don't think that's the case, but hey ho.
the updates, right? I saw that so many of these publisher case studies on Google's website. For example, I interviewed Michael Denich yesterday. He
Mhm.
was a case study on Google's publishing website, like how to make money with ads, how to create great content with Wealth of Geeks, etc. He was showcased as one of the top tier content websites making money with ads on Google's official case studies. His site is basically fully penalized getting no traffic from Google now. I feel like even inside Google's SEO team, maybe they don't speak to each other. Like there's a spam team and then there's the update team. And it's just such a big, heavy monster. It's a corporate monster that they don't actually talk to each other.
I don't. There was an interview, and I think, don't quote me on this, but I believe it was Gary Ellis that basically said there's not one developer side the Google search team that can tell you the exact formula to rank a website because there's so many patents on top of each other and so many different algorithms. There's obviously like the page rank patent, there's the spam algorithm, there's the link algorithm, there's content algorithm, topical authority, et cetera. There's so many different layers to it. It's like an onion. There's so many layers to an onion to just get to the middle. So it definitely could be the case. We have definitely seen certain stuff like this in the past where they have favored topical authority or sorry, domain authority, as opposed to topical authority, and then they switch back. And it has happened in the past, and they have essentially rolled back. Do you think that they potentially might roll back something?
I don't think they're going to. Just from what I see on Twitter directly, when I look, for example, at the official accounts tweeting directly from Google, I don't see any chance of a rollback. Do
Yeah.
you?
So there will obviously be always slight adjustments. For example, this might not apply to you, but if you have went from position 1 to position 4, let's say, there might be a little bit of a rollback. Google bases their algorithm updates based on data. A lot of people think that Google will just say, yep, that's the next update there. And it's not actually the case. So what they tend to do, and again, the results or the people on Twitter might disagree with this, but they will essentially try to have a test data. So they'll send their manual quality raters to a certain SERP, and they'll essentially rate or evaluate all of the websites that for that specific keyword. And let's say if all of the manual raters say that position or the website in position 5 or on page 10, maybe not page 10, but let's say page 2, if they had a good experience, they will then try to find other websites in their entire index and boost those websites up. That's a very dumbed down version of how prior to an algorithm update, what they're doing and how they're collecting information. But that being said, one thing I do think is that websites like Reddit and Quora they might see a little bit of a hit because obviously it's clear as day. So some of the answers now you're looking at and they're just not quality. I remember probably about a year ago now, I actually didn't trust Google. Like you'd be searching for, I don't know, the best televisions or the best microphone, for example, to do podcasts. And I just knew that all the websites, they have got the highest paying affiliate product at the top. And they're just trying to push that down your throat. Whereas if you were to actually search on Reddit, you would find quality answers. Now, I personally think that the quality answers have dipped a little bit on Reddit, but again, time will tell.
It's just been spammed by SEOs, isn't it? It's okay, niche sites aren't working, guys. Let's jump on Reddit and spam the comments. That's what I've seen. Is people who were spamming Google before with maybe low quality niche sites are just swapping to Reddit because that's what ranks, or Quora or LinkedIn or whatever.
Yeah, it's that's the thing. Not everybody has a future-proof SEO plan. And again, some people might have thought that they did have a future-proof SEO plan. But again, with SEO, it is all about pivoting. So say for example, if your website got hit and it had bad backlinks, you were probably cheaping out on the backlinks. You might have been getting Fiverr gigs or whatever else. And at some point, Google will essentially slap your website. Same goes with low quality content, or some one thing that's not even being spoke about is helpful content doesn't necessarily mean the actual physical content on the website, but how helpful is your website's UX? Like, do people need to click 17 pages to be able to find their answer? Because what you're essentially doing then is you're making it very hard for somebody to find an answer on your website, and you're displaying them 17 pages of ads till they actually find the answer. So that's another thing that not many people speak about. When people speak about helpful content, they're like, nope, that content's helpful. And it's, have you looked at the website? Because the website looks like it's built back in 1962. So just bear that in mind. If you guys have been hit by HCU, go and look at your competitors and see what their website user experience is like as well.
The craziest thing about the HCU, particularly last year, is that there are zero recoveries.
Yeah.
Isn't that mad?
There's so there's I've seen certain pages recover. I've not seen an entire website recover. There's certain pages I've seen recover, and there's also certain silos, which tells me that the website owner has cleaned up certain parts of the website or certain articles and stuff like that. But a fully recovered website, I am yet to see. To be honest, I'll hold my hands up. I did make a post back in February, but that was more from a core algorithm update that essentially got recovered. I've been able to recover a lot of core algorithm update like hits, but a HCU, it will probably take a little bit more time. I personally don't think that people are patient enough. That's another thing that got mentioned as well by, I believe, might have been John Mueller.
I saw his tweet as well. I think Lily Ray asked for an update because she was asking, like, why have there not been any case studies or examples of sites that have recovered from
So,
HCU? And he
well,
basically,
yeah, it's going to take multiple core algorithm updates, which is one thing that I've said since essentially day one of the HCU. And Corey's also said this as well. When your website's in in a negative ranking state, so that means that obviously some people, if you look on Google Search Console, their websites are going up. That's a positive ranking state. When you're in a positive ranking state, it's a lot easier to rank for keywords that your website doesn't deserve to rank for. But when you are in a negative ranking state, so when your website's declining, it's almost like you're driving down a hill and it's going to be a lot harder to press the brakes. Whereas when you're going up the hill, it's a lot easier to accelerate. So essentially what you first need to do is stabilize the ranking state. So what you can do by that is publish more articles, get rid of potentially low quality articles, and essentially just try to stabilize that. That's step number one. And then step number two would essentially be going it back in and fixing that, the core lying issue. But that being said, you can't just do that and in an afternoon or in a weekend or in a month, because you need to wait for what Google to essentially roll out another core algorithm update to come and reevaluate your entire website.
Yeah, and the thing that I saw from this latest update was 3 types of sites got hit over the period that's been rolling out. So number 1 is sites with a lot of ads. For example, pretty much all of the Google publisher case studies have taken a massive hit. I think there's just 1 or 2 that actually did really well after the update. The second one is affiliates have taken a big hit from what I've seen. And then the
Mhm.
final one is anyone who got hit by the HCU tends to have had the final nail in the coffin from a negative ranking state. And it's, if your traffic was dropping, mate, you just off 10 times faster during the last update from the HCU.
To be honest, the thing is with that, it's what once it's like fully stabilized, that's when you can essentially try and start tweaking a lot of things. But yeah, to go back to what you were saying, I have seen a lot of websites like that. I am yet to still see, and it'd be interesting for somebody to point this out. I've not seen an e-commerce site get hit yet. Have you seen that?
This is what I've seen from the winners. So, like the losers, ad sites, affiliate sites, and sites that got hit by HCU. I think the
Mm,
winners were probably big brands. So, you've mentioned it already, like Reddit, Quora, Pinterest, YouTube, they're all flying. YouTube SEO seems to be doing better than ever. And then
mhm.
finally, ecom SEO like Dogster, Catster, they're just going to the moon. Like it's just
So
outrageous.
one thing about Dogster and Catster, everyone thinks that, oh, it's an e-commerce website that so on and so forth. The owner of that website is actually running a lot of paid ads. So I believe that don't quote me on this. I don't know if they're doing PPC, but I do know that they are doing some Facebook ads, I believe. And I believe they also have a good prominence on Pinterest. Because there was basically some thread on this that I saw. It was a while back, but they were essentially paying for paid ads. So again, when it comes to building a brand, I can guarantee that a lot of niche websites that did get hit weren't running much money on paid ads and stuff.
Yeah, I think another site that I saw do extremely well was cakesbymk.com. They do like cake recipes, but they also
Right.
have that branding. So they've got a YouTube channel that's absolutely flying. They've got a brand that people would actually search for, and it's not just like they're reliant, but they're a low DR site doing really well. I think that's
Yeah.
the use is like if you're diversifying your traffic, it tends to improve your traffic in SEO anyway.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's another thing that we've started to say at the link building agency as well. And I know you've been doing this as well, but if say for example you're getting guest posts, this is super important for anybody that's listening. Your guest posts should be essentially sending you back referral traffic. And again, what a lot of people used to do is if say for example they wanted to rank their page for best running shoes for men or best cake recipes, they would essentially try to their guest post would be something like best cake recipes, but on that guest post website there's not enough topical authority, so you've just essentially got a lot of relevancy from that website to your website, but again, relevancy doesn't always pass any traffic. But for example, on your guest posts, if you're actually physically trying to rank them, and let's say you're able to rank it for best pink birthday cakes or something along those lines on the guest post, you're essentially getting more traffic from your guest post through to your actual money site as well. So if you can be a little bit more strategic with your guest posts, then it can definitely help.
Yeah, that makes sense. Makes sense. Speaking of guest posts, one of the other things that's coming up on May the 5th is the site reputation abuse update. What are your predictions? Because I'm expecting a lot more drama.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I was going to ask you actually. But what do I think will happen? It will probably be the opposite of what I'm thinking, but there are a lot of websites that have essentially opened up their sponsored section. So, for example, Deccan and Herald, is it?
Yeah.
That's a big one in America, and they've essentially just started blasting out articles that, again, I don't think that they should be ranking for, but I could be wrong in saying that. Like they're ranking for keywords like best diet pills, and you can just tell that they've not reviewed it. So that could lead to a harmful experience for somebody. But again, going back to what I was saying before, that website, it could have really good content on it as a whole. It could be providing a really good user experience. So it could potentially, possibly survive the ranking update. But again, I could be wrong. I am guessing here. What do you think would happen?
So I think I can see 5 different things happening. So number 1, there's gonna be more manual action penalties. Google already said there's gonna be manual action penalties. Now I think they're probably going to target subdirectories. I don't think they're gonna clap like the whole website, but I think some of these sites that have been abusing their reputation and their domain rating, because that's the name of the game, isn't it? It's like domain rating. Okay, if it's 80 or 70, let's publish loads of content with AI and start ranking for whatever we want. That's what I've seen. And so I think there'll be manual action penalties against that, and some people will be made an example of. I
Hmm.
think that people will be a lot more wary of parasite SEO in the way that it's been done over the last 12 months. Additionally, I think that more subdirectories will be de-indexed. And as a result of that, I can see that sites like Reddit are just going to swallow up the traffic. So I can see another boost for sites like Reddit and Quora over the next update.
That's the thing. Like whenever people do these like prediction videos, they're always talking about the losers. Let's come up with two websites each that we think would start dominating even more.
Reddit and
What's
Quora, it's
Reddit
gotta
and
be.
Quora?
Yeah,
Okay, I think that YouTube will probably get a bigger boost, and probably e-commerce websites again. Yeah, it's that. Yeah, I feel like that's probably a possibility.
I think for
In
anyone
that.
watching this, if you're not doing YouTube SEO, you're missing out so much. Kazra, you do it, I do it. Every single update that comes along, YouTube SEO just goes up and up and up and up. It's even if you look at search generative experience and how it only links to 1 or 2 sites, if you look at the biggest
Always a video.
benefactors of that, it's YouTube, and it's quite often YouTube that's ranking in search generative experience.
Yeah, the thing is, the barrier to entry is a little bit higher to YouTube. Like anyone can just write an article, be behind a monitor, publish that article. Whereas with YouTube, you need an okay mic, you need an okay camera. Like I've got two lights behind me. I've got one light there, one light there, and also you need to be like engaging. I'm probably saying this, and there's going to be one person viewing this video by now, but
I can
in
just
order,
imagine the comments right now.
yeah.
If I post this on Twitter, amazing.
But the honest answer is, and again, I don't know about you, but I don't like reading articles. Me, I don't know if it's the ADHD side of me or whatever. But as soon as I see a long block of content, and I'm like, huh, I'm not reading that. But a video, like I would much rather watch a Julian Goldie video than read a Julian Goldie blog post. Put it that way. And I don't know about what your thoughts are on that.
100%. Me too. Yeah, I'd much rather. In fact, do you know what? I think it's not just about YouTube and videos there, but I think live streams, 10 times more engaging than most videos I watch and most
Mm,
articles I read. I think live streams are the way forward because it's just irrefutable evidence that number one, you're not AI. And number two, there's like that spontaneity and that
yeah.
engagement with the audience that makes everything 10 times more interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I always get like a notification whenever you're live, and I'll just chime in just for a random question.
Spin some of
Um,
your questions.
this for anybody watching, like I'll just come in and I'll be like, "Yeah, so what's the latest on I don't know Bing SEO?" And Julian will be like, "Yeah, Bing SEO is the next big thing." But yeah, like I always like the live streams. To be fair, I've not done one for 4 or 5 weeks because I've been away and stuff, but just to add to what you were saying, I do think it adds a little bit more of an authority stamp to your brand as soon as you go live. They're like, "Ah, Julian Goldie's live. I've always wanted to ask him this question. He's not replied or whatever." They can just hop on and ask you the questions.
Yeah, I have some mates in Thailand, right? Thai locals
Mm,
who one of them sells diamonds online. That requires an insane amount of trust, right? Unless you're like Cartier, something like that. The way that he gets most of his sales, it's not through YouTube, it's not through SEO, it's through Facebook Lives. And I think it is again because you're building so much trust And even if you get maybe 50% or 60% of the views, if you're chasing the money, not views, you actually get way more sales from doing lives. Like it's just such a good way to sell and a good way to convert and build trust with your audience.
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. I've seen people selling fake merchandise on lives before, and they get ridiculous, like 3,000 views on TikTok, and I'm like, wow.
It's wild.
Even if you're converting it, let's say 0.5% or 1%, it's still gonna get a lot of sales in.
Just coming back to the updates, one thing, and I'm just conscious of your time as well, so we'll finish this off soon. But the other thing that I've seen with the recent updates is manual action penalties aside, let's ignore those. Let's talk about algorithmic updates. AI, I've seen so many AI sites come out of this last update absolutely flying and doing better than ever. If you look, and I'll name two examples right now. So, for example, income stream surfers, two
Mhm.
men it. It's been a public case study since last year, absolutely flying. Originality, they just tweak the content. So it's not like copy and paste or anything like that. It's manually edited. There's an actual checklist, and it's just because they have foreign writers. But again, they're up to like hundreds of thousands of traffic a month. Like he did an interview with us live. And then the final one that I've seen is, did you see the competition with Niche Pursuits?
Yes, I did. I don't know who won that though.
Some of those sites did really well. And
Yeah,
again, it wasn't about like bulk content generation. I don't think that's the right way to do it. But it was about like just manually editing the content before it's published. And again, they were just absolutely flying.
yeah. That's the thing, like, I got asked a lot of times in Vietnam and stuff, has AI content been hit? And it's not necessarily AI content's been hit, but a specific SEO strategy's been hit. So it didn't matter if you were writing AI content or if you're using manual handwritten content from the SEO gods, your website still had the chance of being hit. It's the fact that your SEO strategy probably sucked. That's why you got hit. It's not the fact that you spent 18 days writing one article, or if you've spent 3 seconds producing an AI article and then maybe manually editing it. So AI content, to my knowledge, hasn't been hit. Yes, you probably should be manually editing it, making certain that it's fact checked, etc. But yeah, it's not the fact that AI content's been hit at all.
All right. Thanks so much for being on, Kazra.
Thanks for having me.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. So, thanks so much for watching. And if you want to get a free SEO strategy session about how to get more leads, traffic, and sales from SEO with a free link building acceleration session, you'll get an SEO domination plan. We'll answer your questions and you'll discover the best link building strategies for your website. Feel free to book that in. That is free and we will answer your questions directly on the call. Plus, if you want a free SEO course, links in the comments and description as well. That comes with 8 different traffic diversification modules showing you exactly how to get more traffic and make more money for your website. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it as always. Bye bye.